Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 7th edition of our Knowledge Primer series. My name is Mimi, your MC for today. Today's event is part of the Center for Civil Society and Governance 4 years Partnership for Sustainability Leadership Business projects supported by the Hong Kong Bank Foundation. Today's theme is enabling the ecosystem for resource circularity in the MICE industries. As we all aware, the MICE industry plays a significant role in Hong Kong's economy, facilitating networking, knowledge exchange, and business collaboration. However, it's no secret that there are considerable environmental costs associated with organizing these events, from the material use, carbon emissions, and waste generated from the entire life cycles. It is imperative that we take proactive measures to address these challenges. Let us embrace today's opportunities to learn and get inspired by our speakers and panelists to drive a circular, low-carbon, and sustainable MICE industries. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite our Professor Wai-Fung, Director for Center for Civil Society and Governance, University of Hong Kong, to give us a warm welcome remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. Actually, it's always nice and also a challenge, to give an opening after a very good meal. Yeah. All right, but okay. Anyway, so welcome everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you for joining the Knowledge Primer 7, enabling the ecosystem for resource circularity in the MICE industry. Now, I'm very happy to see so many, distinguished guests and also industry experts together here actually to discuss this very important issue. And I'm very happy to report that actually the number of participants in this event today, both online and offline, actually exceeds 120 people. So, we do have a very nice group of people who are very, interested in learning more about, the circularity and also sustainability in the MICE industry. We all agree that Hong Kong is a very vibrant city, actually. We have all kinds of activities all year round, international conferences, exhibitions, trade shows and everything. And actually, the exhibition industry actually is very important, plays a very important role in the economic development in Hong Kong. And the government has announced that actually more than 200 mega events, will be held in Hong Kong in 2024, and they hope to attract an estimated 1.7 million tourists. So it plays a very important role, actually, But despite a big year of MICE revival in Hong Kong, many events actually are often run in a very resource material intensive and sort of wasteful manner. So. Now, although recycling and donation of materials have become popular practices today, they are only tackling the symptom, but not the root problem, which actually concerns about very sustainable deployment of resources and planning, right? So in light of the zero waste vision, it's very important for us to really to think about the so-called turning the linear way of operation of these events into a circular ones. All right. Now, to realize resource circularity in this event, the biggest challenge for us, I think, is that, how to get the value chain actors on board. Because, when we're talking about event management, actually there are many actors involved along the value chain. And these actors include the contractors, caterers, sponsors, experts, and visitors, right? So to effectively communicate the aspiration within the organization, also with different stakeholders, I think it's very important, for us to really think about, what should be the narrative, or not, what should be the way that we could actually present the vision, right? Now, in today's event, actually, we have invited two very esteemed keynote speakers from Thailand and Macau, and who are actually promoting sustainable MICE industry in the region, actually. Over the lunch, actually, we have learned a lot from them already, and they will tell you their stories, very interesting stories. And after this, the talks, actually, there will be a panel discussion joined by 5 industry experts, bringing in different perspectives, about the collaboration and transformation needed for the MICE industry to adopt the circularity principle, right? Now, this knowledge primer actually will also mark the launch of a Practical Guidebook to Circular Economy Volume 2, collaborating with value chain partners for organizing circular events and exhibitions. It's a very long title, but every word in the title is important, right? So I need to make sure that I get it right. All right, this guidebook actually serves as an essential self-study resource and also provides some very good cases and ready-to-use templates for industry practitioners to integrate resource circularity principles into business operations through the value chain-based framework. Now, this guidebook would not have been possible without the very generous support from the MICE industry stakeholders in the process of development. Actually, in putting together the guidebook, actually, we have been actually engaging with a lot of industry leaders, practitioners, and they have been very, very generous, actually. So we are very grateful. So a big thank you to all these partners. Actually, we look forward to continuing the sort of engagement with you guys. All right, that's important. So it's only the start. All right. Now, without further ado, let's kick off the program, and that's it.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Professor Lam.
Okay, of course. Okay. All right. No, it's fine.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Lam. Please be seated. So now we are very honored to invite our first keynote speakers. Please join me to give a warm welcome to Mrs. Orachorn Wongpan-ngam, Directors of MICE Capability Department from Thailand Convention and Exhibition Bureau, to join us on stage to share her insights on the topic of policies, infrastructures, and capacity building, the building blocks for Thailand's circular transformation in the MICE industry. So after each keynote speech, we will have around 5 minutes Q&A sessions. So if anyone joining the Zoom would like to ask a question, please put it in the chat room and I will try my best to facilitate. So hand over to you.
สวัสดีค่ะ Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.สวัสดีค่ะ It's my honor to be here at the University of Hong Kong. Let me introduce myself, a short briefing. My name is Orachorn Wongpan-ngam. You can call me On. It's very short name. It's my nickname On. I'm the director of MICE Capability Development Department of Thailand Convention and Exhibition Bureau. We working under Prime Minister to promote the MICE destination for Thailand. We become to be the MICE destination for the sustainability destination to support our stakeholder in Thailand. Thailand is the leading MICE for more long times ago. We call for the meeting, incentive, convention, and exhibition. Not the exhibition right now. The government is focusing on the festival and also the big event we call the expo and event in our Asia to bring the international event to Thailand. Our strategy location, world-class facility, rich cultural heritage, and also the exceptional hospitality makes us an attractive choice for international event. The concept of the circular economy, minimizing waste and also the maximizing resources used to reuse, recycle, and regenerating material is crucial for the MICE industry. It promotes sustainable events with positive environmental and also the community impact. At TCEB, we have the strategy focusing on the sustainability approach revolve around 3 core areas. The first one is the win. We aim to secure major international events by showing our commitment to sustainability, emphasize our green policy and also the infrastructure. The second one, promote. We actively market Thailand as a sustainable MICE destination, highlight our eco-friendly venue and also the event practice. The last one is the develop is under my supervision. We enhance the capability of our MICE professionals through training and also the certification program focusing on sustainable event management. Our 5-year strategy that we already approved from the government is encapsulated in the TCEB goal framework. T is mean Thailand as a global mines leader, positioning Thailand as a global mines leader through sustainability and also the innovation. C, create the destination competitiveness, enhancing the competitiveness of mine destinations with infrastructure, improvements, marketing, and also the policy support. E is mean execute, innovative mine solution, developing and implementation innovative solution for the evolved mine industry. B, it means building an agile organization. We create and adapt organization to drive the sustainable growth internally and also externally with the stakeholder. We go for the mine sustainability, achieving comprehensive sustainability in the mine industry, covering the environmental, social, and also the economic aspects. Our circular transformations efforts are supported by a robust policy framework, including the National Master Plan on Circular Economy. This plan outlines the vision and strategy for the integrated circular economy principle across the industry. Sustainability event standard. We have established guidelines and standards for the organization eco-friendly event, focusing on the waste reduction, energy efficiency, and also the sustainability sourcing. Incentive for the sustainable practice to encourage adoption. We offer the incentives and support for the mine operators who implement sustainable practice in their event. Infrastructure. A critical role in supporting our circular economy goals. We have invested significant in developing green infrastructure such as eco-friendly venue. Many of convention center and hotel are Thailand Mine Venue Standard, we call the TMVS, and also we uplift them the standard to be the ASEAN Mine Venue Standard, we call the AMVS, and we support them under the Thailand Sustainable Event Management Standard, we call the TCEB. We have 3 standards already in Thailand to support the mine stakeholder. They have the certify and equip the energy efficient system to their system in the internal stakeholder. We have the waste management facility, advanced waste, and also the recycling facilities are integrated into the event venues. The sustainability transportation, we promote the use of the electric vehicle and public transportation option for the event attendee to encourage them to use the public transportation for the event. Our effort in not only my stakeholder in the venue and the hotel, we work together with the academic side. The professional development as extensive is the first one. We provide the course offering, providing a wide range of the subject in over 150 partner universities and also the vocational school across Thailand. We have the national mines courses we develop and deliver by TCEB and partner association with over 1,700 professionals in Thailand. Get to age already. And the last one is we have the international certification. We are partnering with the international association, we call Mine and Event Association around the world for over 10 years, resulting in around 1,400 professionals certified in international standard already. We built the capability my business organization, not only the people venue, but we build the organization also. We focusing on the standardization. The first step, national and ASEAN standard, develop national my standard. That I told you, Thailand my venue standard, we focusing on the venue. We uplift them to the ASEAN my venue standard. And all the ASEAN countries already use our standard to support the my operator. The second step, the international standard, adopting international standard, like ISO, International Standard Organization. TCEB, we provide financial support about 70%, supporting for the Thai MICE operation organization seeking the certification to support and do the marketing across the international standard. Thailand journey toward become preferred a sustainable MICE destination. We starting in 2028 with the Green Meeting project. We have support the Green Meeting guideline, and we have the project, many projects together with the MICE stakeholder. It was developed, the sustainability in 2018. We dedicate the sustainability development section in our organization. Our sustainability journey included advocate for sustainable concept, educating stakeholders and how to knowledge facilitate the business continuity during the challenge time, and empowering operators to drive the sustainability practice. We start with the awareness building first, then the capability building, uplift the capability to national and international standard, and finally develop sustainable my destination in Thailand. Now we have 260 already in the rank of the sustainable destination index. We call the Bangkok and also the Songkhla city in my city. Our 9 R practice from the foundation of our sustainability efforts, focusing on the reduce, reuse, and recycle material. Allow me to share some specific initiative that we educate the MICE venue standard to use the program. We do the food waste prevention launch in 2018. This program minimizing and also food at the all operator points, reduce cost and environmental impact. The second one, we use the good waste separating. We encourage waste separation to support the circular processes with the initiative such as the repurpose event decoration for the multi-use. Here are the sample of our implementation. We use the backdrop to be the good course for the uniform for this, our staff also. The carbon MICE change maker. We have built a team to change the maker, including professional convention organizer, professional exhibition organizer, DMC, Destination Management Company, venue and shape, and also the academic cluster. Non-MICE partner to systematic drive change towards reduced carbon footprint. We developed the two, we call the net zero carbon application. We use the application on mobile phone system already, and our MICE stakeholder can buy the carbon credit to offset the event by mobile phone. We remain committed to advancing our circular transformation with goal including we expanding green infrastructure, increasing the number of eco-friendly venue and facilities, enhance the cooperation, strengthen partnership with international organizations to adopt global best practice, and also the continue implement regularly update and policy and training program to stay ahead of industry trend. We work together with the event industry council. We have the cost for the international standard. For our people, we call the sustainable event professional certified with the EIC. If you would like to join our station, you can contact us directly. In conclusion, our journey toward a circular economy not only work with the stakeholder, but we believe that the position Thailand as my knowledge hub in ASEAN is the best practice for the sustainability. In the mine industry, is driven by the comprehensive approach encompassing policy infrastructure and capability buildings. By working together, we can create more sustainable and resilient mine industry that benefits both for the economy and also the environmental. I think this presentation can share you about the sustainability practice that we did it with the policy framework for the Thailand. If you have any question, you can contact us and also my assistant, Kun Nguyen. Thank you for University of Hong Kong for invitation, and I'm very happy to support all of you. And this is my first time to be here, and I would like to work together with the international university, cooperating to do like a partnership program with the new generation, both of the university and also the stakeholder. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Orachorn, for your enlightening keynote speech. Please remain on stage. So we are now open floor for Q&A sessions. So please raise your hands if you have any questions. And I'm also checking on the Zoom. So if any Zoom participants would like to ask the questions, please fill in the Q&A as well. So any questions from the floor? Please raise your hand. Okay. So Chris here.
Chris?
Can you pass the mic? Yeah. Please share your name and where you're from.
I'm Chris from ReThink Hong Kong. For the calculator, what kind of take-up have you had from that? It looks like a wonderful tool, but actually how are you encouraging, incentivizing, rewarding the stakeholders to actually put their data in and do the calculations?
Okay, actually TCEB, we work together with the government sector. We call, I can't remember the name, in TGO, Thailand Gas House National. We work together with them to build the application, and we encourage my stakeholder by we have the seminar or the conference together with them, and encourage them to calculate just only 5 items first. It means the food, transportation, electric, documentation, and also the decoration in this system. They can create for the 5 items first, and then can use this application to buy the carbon credit. That we encourage another the market from the industry to connect with the application. They can use the application to buy it immediately when they finish the event or the exhibition by themselves.
Is it targeted at of the key stakeholder groups? Is it
organizer, venue, exhibitor, contractor? Yeah, can use this application.
Okay. But then, sorry, if you're asking an organizer to submit their data and an exhibitor to submit their data.
Actually, the organizer, they use the application, not the exhibitor and visitor. Yeah.
Not exhibitor.
Yeah, no exhibitor. Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, that's great. So we should have time for one more question. So I do have one question from our Zoom audience. So let's hear. He says, the 9R concept is a very new concept to him. And would you please elaborate a little bit more of how do you come up with this and how's the transformation be done?
Actually, in the exhibition and event industry, the big ways that we do is we encourage them to use the recycle and reduce the decoration, because most of the organizers, they use the R, recycle the decoration, a lot of waste from this. So we work with the venue to have like the area we call the storage. And then they will return the decoration to be the decoration in the new exhibition in the future. Yes, this is the decoration. The decoration they separate in the venue. We work together with them.
All right. We have one more question. I think we should be, the time should be able to cover that. So this audience asks, what are some unique challenges relating sustainability you foresee in the Asian market in general?
I think the sustainability is not the policy, but it's the responsible by everybody. So now we work very hard with the new generation to change their mindset to know about the sustainability. If they know this one, we can continue to do the business together. Yeah, this is the challenge for our country, because the new generation, they don't know about how to organize the event or exhibition with the sustainability practice.
Thank you so much for your sharing.
Yeah.
So this is a wrap for our Q&A sessions. So please be seated.
Okay, thank you.
So that's a very great Q&A sessions. And I guess that's the purpose of us organizing the event, to encourage more knowledge exchange between different partners. So now it is our pleasure to invite our second keynote speaker, Ms. Sylvia Chan, the Council Chairperson from Macau Fair and Trade Association, to join us on stage. Please give a round of applause. We are going to delve into the topic of driving green mines industry in Macau, barriers and opportunities. I will pass the time to Sylvia.
Hey, good afternoon. Are you all awake from your lunch? All right, so I am from Macau. Let me see how it works first. Okay, so my topic is driving a green mines industry in Macau. What is the barriers, what has been the barriers, and what are the opportunities? A slightly different approach from TCEB. TCEB is a government department, okay? But for us, it's just a local association. So we have a different approach. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with Macau. Can you raise your hand?
Show of hands.
Oh, okay.
Everyone.
So, good. All right, so I don't have to explain too much, but of course, if you have questions, you can ask later on afterwards. So, okay, let me start with my overview for today. Okay, I will explain who we are, what we do, when we started all this, where we started it, and why we are doing it, or we did and we're still doing it. Okay? All right. First of all, Macau Fair and Trade Association, who are we? We were established in 2001. Okay? We are a non-profit organization, as I've mentioned. Hi, Stuart. He's making you nervous. Okay, anyway. And we are members of UFI, that's the Global Association of Exhibition Industry, and AFICA, Asia Federation of Exhibition and Convention Associations. Okay. We have more than 1,000 individuals, enterprises, and affiliated members. But mind you, our board members are a bit smaller. Our members, the main of the individuals are students ambassadors that we have from the universities. Okay. And our members are all individuals, as mentioned. We come from different walks of life. We have people from education, from accounting, from law, from exhibition industry, etc. Okay. So, what we do? We actively organize and undertake various events, conferences, and exhibitions. I think some of you were in Macau back in March for the UVA Asia Pacific Conference. And we also have long been developing the regional cooperation and exchange. Regional cooperation meaning the Greater Bay Area, the Belt Road. We've been taking trips with the mice industry to all these countries to get to know, to do some exchanges. And we also do MICE talent cultivation. We just finished off the venue management school yesterday. Thanks to Monica for being one of our lecturers. And also we strongly promote the green MICE. And then how we do it through via economy, society, and environment. And the thing is that we really want to push the exhibition industry to be more green and more sustainable. Okay. When did it all started? You all know where this is. This is the Venetian Cotai Expo, okay, established in 2007. Okay, it's a 71,000 SQM exhibition space. Okay, 6,500 SQM pillarless ballroom space, and so forth, so forth. So once you have an event, a venue like this, we would start to have lots of MICE events, exhibitions, meetings, etc., etc. All right, and of course, there's suddenly increase of rubbish. So for one event, specific event, which I'm going to focus today, but between 2008 and 2009, there were 102 and 106 truckloads of 1.5 tons of rubbish being thrown away at the end of the event, okay? How we know that? Because the official contractor was our association president. He kept track of it, okay? And then seeing all these truckloads is not just wasting, it's not just waste, it is actually burning money because you have to send those rubbish for the incinerator and all this. So what we did is in 2010, we supported by the Macau Environmental Bureau and Ebrahim is the Macau Trade and Investment Promotion Bureau Institute, responsible for the MICE industry in Macau. We launched the Green Booth and Green Electricity Fee Rebates Award. Okay, what is this? Okay, so basically we focus on 5 hours on a Green Booth and Green Electricity Fee Rebate Award. Basically, we focus on the reuse of building material, repurpose of carpets, refuse, recycle, and reduce. So I will go further on that later on. This is the form which we will score the booths on how they are using environmental materials. Okay. So since the launch and in 2010, and within 2 years, this award has shown significant results. The first one, truckloads of rubbish were reduced by 75%. And then energy saving lights use of it increased by 40%. And lastly, okay. The use of recycled materials also increased by 40%. So we saw it's very important. It is in MICEF. MICEF is the Macau International Environmental Forum. So we use this as an example because it's supposed to be environmental friendly conference forum, okay? At the beginning, it has like 102 tons of truckloads of rubbish. That's not green. It's not green. So we did this for 2 years. We kept track of the amount, and then we proposed to the government, look, you're doing this international environmental friendly forum, okay, but your waste is so much. Let's launch this award, and then they saw the results, so they start to understand the difference. Next. So, in 2013, we also, because of the achievement we did on the Green Booth and Green Electricity Fee Rebate Award, we were nominated as one of the 9 best practices in a sustainable development award by UFI. And then we were the only Asian countries or cities to be within the practices. So we are happy about it. We're not boasting, but then the hard work it did pay off. And then after that, we ran around China. Okay, we ran around the Pearl River Delta region. We signed MOU in 2016, encouraging those MICE organizer, the exhibitors, venues to also focus on this Green Booth Rebates Award. And then 2 years later on, we still believe that we're not doing enough. And we realized that even though we're offering incentive to the exhibitors or the organizers or the contractors, some rebates, financial support, it's just not enough. People really need to know how much waste is being done via the MICE industry. So we work with the City University of Hong Kong, the Department of Energy and Environment, to create the MICE event carbon emission calculator. This is our association own investment into this calculator, okay? But of course, afterwards, there was some issues and the COVID, so it didn't launch until very recently. So let me just quickly talk about the MICE event carbon emission, a very general idea. So basically, it is for 6 major stakeholders in the MICE industry: participants, exhibitor appointed contractor. So if you are in the MICE industry, you know that even though you have an official contractor, the exhibitors would sometimes refer their own contractors. So that's when we have the exhibitor appointed contractor, okay? And then we have the event organizer plus the venue owner. So we have basically all the 6 major stakeholders in the MICE industry. So this is what we designed to cater for the whole industry. Okay. So of course, you have the input data. Each one of the stakeholders have to enter information, okay? And after inputting all the necessary information into the calculator, like as you see, there are items like transportation, accommodation. There's a selection of things, you know, and the language it has is English and Chinese, 2 languages. But let's say for transportation, you could be flying in from Russia to Macau, you can select that, or you can use it in, let's say in Thailand. If you're flying from Russia to Thailand, you can also use that. So it will do all the calculation. The back of the house calculation, I don't know anything about it, okay? I'm sorry about that, but I just know how it works, okay? The calculations, I leave it for the experts, okay? So you can see, these are the sample that you can see. So it will collect and consolidate carbon emission from various categories: the booth construction materials, material transportation, electricity consumption, transportation, meaning like, you know, when you fly in and fly out, accommodation, and so forth, so forth. That's also included food and beverage, right? And another thing is that it can collect and consolidate the carbon emission of different stakeholders of the event, okay? So the reports, why we do this is that you get the reports at the end, okay? And then you could share, you could analyze it and see which stakeholder is taking up most of the, you know, yeah. So we'll see how we can fine-tune it and get them to do better, okay? Okay, so afterwards, we have, in 2023, actually last year, yes, our association, together with the Guangzhou Emission Exchange and our partner association, Macau Low Carbon Reduction Association, developed the Green MICE and Events Guideline. So this is being used for our local events, and we are sharing it to also China. Okay, but this is working under with the Guangzhou Emission Exchange. Why we do this is after the calculator, if you have submitted all the information, again, you can buy credits to offset. Of course, you have your choice. You don't have to if you don't feel responsible. But I do believe many people are very responsible nowadays, and they would buy. But it doesn't have to be bought from via our platform. If you have your own connection, you can do that. I mean, we're okay for that. But the calculator is there for everybody to use, and we're not charging anything. It's only when you have to buy the emission then you need it. Okay. Okay. Okay, the 5 hours in the exhibition industry is included in this guideline. So as we use the Green Booth and the Green Electricity Rebate Award as an example, we reuse, for the reuse, we improve the reusability of STEM building materials like truss, a table, so forth. Repurpose it, encourage to use the environmental friendly carpets that can be broken down into plastic practices and particles and apply towards other items. Okay. To refuse is to encourage reducing the usage of floor carpeting or covering whenever is possible, Recycle, of course, increase the recyclability of STEM building materials. And reduce, encourage the use of energy-saving lamps, bulbs, or electricity equipment to reduce the electricity consumption. This is very basic. I think all of you would understand that. Okay. So, further to that, we have also established our own label. With the calculator and the guideline, we also partnering with our Macau Low Carbon Development Association. We are certifying MICE events to apply for the certified green MICE events and also certified carbon neutral MICE events. So why did we start all this? We want the certified green MICE events is to encourage MICE stakeholders to reduce emissions at source. Okay, and we want to award those events that have adopted green measures. And also we want to promote the green and sustainable development of the Macau's MICE industry. Of course, this is because the label is for Macau. We hope in the future it could go global. And then for the certified carbon neutral MICE events, this is being certified by different entities like the Guangzhou Emission Exchange. Also, the government is involved in it. And also, we hope to support the development of global carbon reduction projects, and of course, to support the 3060 decarbonization goal of China. All right. And at the same time, we know coping with the climate change and all this is very important nowadays. It's something that all of us are looking into it and following and hoping to do it. So this is why we want to do it, because I think the most important thing is the coping with the climate, the planet that we're living in is very important. We don't want it to go unnurtured or not being taken care of. Challenges, of course, there are lots of challenges for us. As you mentioned, there are insufficient knowledge of what it is. What is carbon reduction? What is carbon offset? What is carbon neutrality? And then what we did is we promoted, we try to have one-stop solution for everybody. Like besides the guidelines, the calculator, we would also do the workshop for locals. We've been working with the integrated resource in Macau that they will be implementing the carbon calculator for all the events. Okay, so far we are working closely right now with Sense China. They have the biggest exhibition venue, SJM, and also we're working with Galaxy. The others, we're working with them, but then they are a bit slower. They have their own timeline to that. So we're gonna be working with them also. For the support and the incentives, in Macau, the government has a development plan for 24 to 28. And for the MICEF, it is confirmed that they will continue to focus on the MICE events carbon emission. They will promote it and they will use it for the events and to hopefully to get the green and also to prepare and launch the Green Convention Exhibition Guide. As I mentioned earlier, Ebrahim is our industry's leader from the government side. So according to their Convention Exhibition Stimulation Program issued February 23, they will subsidize events, convention exhibition. They will support green events. They will have eligible funding as long as your events adopt green measures, okay, and recognized by the professional environmental protection organizations. And also, we also have a standard of assessment by the government. But what we really want to push now is to ensure that the certified green MICE events and the certified carbon neutral events, MICE events label, will be included as part of the stimulation funding program. Lesson learned, lack of awareness, understanding, unable to provide complete carbon emission data prior to the events. These are some of the things that we have to teach the locals, the contractors, the organizers to provide for us. And some of the tips we have, based on what we have been doing, we need to have the top management's commitment. This is very important. If they are not in the same wavelength, it's just not possible. Top management, including the company and also the government, they also need that. We also have to follow and liaise with the international frameworks like the ISO and the Net Zero Carbon Events Initiative. We have to involve the stakeholders, learn from best practices, talk to experts. Educate, share, and report is very important. We have to educate the younger generation. We have to educate the older generation, because many times, like we were just talking about shark fin issue on the menu, in a wedding, usually it will be the elders that would like to have the menu with shark's fin, because it's nice, it's like, proper. But for the younger generation, they would prefer no shark's fin, because they find it's not good, So this is education, and is very important. And we have to be flexible, because nowadays it's going to be a permanent process. It's going to be ongoing forever. We're trying to meet something that we could try to achieve something that is will be good for the world. So this is all I have to share. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask me. Thank you.
Thank you, Synthia. Please stay for a Q&A. Oh, so we already have questions over there.
Hi, Synthia. Thank you so much for your sharing. My name is Prudence, and I'm from a sustainability background. So just now you mentioned about the labeling scheme, and we heard it's a very exciting scheme, right? So with hindsight, what do you think are the key success factor for mainstreaming this labeling scheme in the Macau's event industry?
How can we do that? Of course, promoting is very important, and we really have to get all the stakeholders, especially the venues, because as I've mentioned, we have quite a few big events venues. I mean, not compared to Hong Kong, but that it's big enough to cause a lot of rubbish. So from them, we have to encourage them to also support this labeling. And also the government. So we basically start off with the government's events, because in Macau, the governments run events like the MICEF, the MIF, so forth. So based on this, we would not really force, but then we will encourage the government to support this green initiative. We will work together with the government to input all the data so that the calculator can do the numbers, and then we can offset it and provide the green MICE and a net zero event label for them. Yeah, hope that answers your question.
All right, we have another question in the front, and we will facilitate at the back as well.
Thank you. Very informative. Marcy Trent Long from RTHK3 Trash Talk. A question: when you yes, sorry, that's the name.
Cool.
That's the name
I like
of the
that.
show.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. I like it very much.
When I input that people buy the carbon credits on your app, how are you finding the offsets? Where do you guys turn around and buy
Okay.
the credit?
Basically, we already have the connection. We have locations in China, Brazil, and Portugal. We are still expanding. I heard from Chris locally there is something that we could do. Yeah. So we would be hoping to have more options for the people to buy the credits. Yeah. We go direct to the project, but of course there are some that do not have, then we go via the platform. It all depends on the situation, yeah. I hope that answers your question.
哎，陈小姐你好，我是来自北京的赵伟，中外会展的。
I am from Beijing, from Central Convention, an old friend. So I'm delighted and allow me to ask my question in Mandarin. So we've been paying a lot of attention to the Macanese government's green initiatives, and in China, a lot of cities have went to Macau to learn from your experience to promote such initiatives. And we know that the Greater Bay Area is also inviting Macau to go to the Greater Bay Area to promote this initiative. So the Macanese government promoting this in a mandatory manner and giving some funding, how could that help the Greater Bay Area overall? That's my first question. And secondly, when we organize similar events in Beijing, we would also like to invite the Macanese government to come to Beijing to promote and market their ideas in Beijing to further expand the scope of our collaboration.
Just let me answer your second question. Inviting the government to promote about the green mice, I cannot answer for them. I'm still an association non-governmental, so you would have to approach them directly. The first question, I just want to make sure because my Mandarin is not very good, so is it possible to have someone to translate the question? Just make sure. I just want to make sure I understand what he said.
All right, sorry, excuse me. Would you mind? 你可以讲一次你的问题吗？我再听一次。第一个问题，对。
Yeah, so repeating his first question, we want to know when it comes to promoting Greater Bay Area's environmental consciousness, like what active, what advice would have for us?
More sustainable mice industries.
Okay,
I'd like to add one more thing, right? So recently, in Guangzhou, in the Greater Bay Area, we are going to organize a major event of inviting both China and foreign operatives, and we would very much like to invite you here to that event as well.
Over to one of the big events coming up around the Greater Bay Area. So you guys can connect after the events, but go back to the questions. Okay.
Okay. The purpose for us to drive the green booth and also the calculator to Greater Bay Area is because in China there are lots of venues, okay, and there are lots of exhibitions also ongoing and events going on, and the China central government's policy is also looking into that. So even for us, it is very important that we share this concept to not only China, not only Greater Bay Area, but it's just happened Greater Bay Area is closer to Macau, and we have an alliance with the Greater Bay Area, the Pearl River Delta Alliances, the 33 cities. So we approach them first. Because when we do something like this, it's not like I can just go and walk up to your door and say, hey, nice to meet you. My name is Synthia. Would you like to do this? I cannot. I need someone who understands the industry, who would be able to support on the same level, same wavelength, and then we can work together, explain it a little bit more, and then let them join hands to work with us for this sustainable mice industry. So this is why we approach the Greater Bay Area first. But we're not stopping there. We haven't been stopping there. We've been going further and further. And we're hoping to reach also globally. Like we have been presented our calculator to the UFI and also the Greenfield. They have been reviewing it. They make one or two comments, but then basically it's all fixed. So our next step is really to launch it globally so that everybody can use it because it's in English, it's in Chinese. So it covers China and also international market. So it's a free app, not an app, it's a free online tool. And so I hope that we can, provide a better channel, a good channel for our mice industry to really look into a sustainable green mice in the future. Yeah, so I hope I answered the question.
Does it answer your questions? Okay, that's great. So we have one more question. So the gentleman over there.
Ms. Synthia, this is Oswald. I'm one of the consulting firm in Hong Kong. May I ask you how, just like the calculator that you provide for everyone, right? And also, after the calculation, the carbon emission can be offset by the certain of the carbon credit. How to prevent the greenwashing?
How to what?
How to prevent or avoid the greenwashing? Any mechanism that you can chat on with the applicant or the offset amount?
I'm sorry, I don't quite
Agree-
understand.
How to avoid anyone I want the greenwashing. I maybe greenwashing.
Yes.
漂綠啊，
漂綠。
造假。
Oh,
Yes. Greenwashing.
Yes.
okay.
And any mechanism that the apps or
It's not an app,
So-
it's an online platform.
online platform, yeah.
So are you questioning in terms of like the accuracy of the data that people
Yes,
provide?
because at the end, you will give the applicant
Report.
with the report
Yeah,
and
so
also
it's their
the-
due diligence and you're trusting
Yes,
the
and then
input.
any-
Okay, okay. Well, first of all, for anybody to have access to the platform, you have to go through our association. You have to send in an email, give us a brief on what you're doing, where it's going to be held. We're going to cross-check with the venue whether this is happening, whether this event is actually happening. And then we will provide a code, an access code for your event, okay, to start providing all the information that is necessary on the website. Yeah. So the cross-check fact, that's a good question. I need to ask the technicality part. I'm not sure about that, but if the university can keep this
Sure.
record, and then we get back to you.
Of course. So please come to us and we can pass the questions, or you can directly exchange the contact with Synthia and have a follow-up question on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind. I just want to answer your question properly because this type of technical aspects, I'm not very strong on that. So I think it's fair for me to get back to you on that one. Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
Yep,
Synthia.
thank
And
you.
that's a very great Q&A session.
Thank you.
So please be seated. So I do want to address one question from the Zoom audience asking if the audience were going to access the PowerPoints from the keynote speech. So we will check with our keynote speakers if this is something that we can share with our audience after the event, okay? So now it's time for our moderate sessions. So we hope to gain a deeper understanding of the efforts required in the industry to achieve a circular transformation. So today we have invited 5 thought leaders in the industry joining us in these sessions to explore the theme of activating collaboration to catalyze circularity practices and innovations in the MICE industries. So I would like to first invite our moderator, Professor Lam, to join us on stage. And along with our panelists, Ms. Anita Chau, Marketing and Events Director from KPMG, Ms. Chris Brown, Founder and CEO of ReThink Hong Kong, Ms. Monica Lee-Müller, Managing Directors from Hong Kong Convention and Exhibition Centre Management Limited, Ms. Amy So, Program Directors, Asia Sustainability from Informa Markets, and last but not least, Ms. Sheila Ebrahim, Senior Manager, Technology, Strategy and Planning from New World Development Company. So I will hand over the time to Professor Lam.
Thank you, Mimi. We have, 40 minutes, right?
Around that.
Around
The clock
40
is
minutes.
in front of you.
We
It's
we
ticking.
overrun a little bit, but we'll actually, okay. There's a clock there, okay, all right. 40 minutes, it's counting. All right, so I guess, because we want to actually engage members of the audience in the discussion. So I think the discussion within the panel, I will take about 30 minutes. And then I will, leave about 10 minutes, and open to the floor. And then I would encourage, members of the audience to raise questions, maybe that participate, whatever. Okay, right. Okay, let's get started. Let's get started. All right. I guess my there are a number of questions or issues I want to actually discuss with the panel members. The first one is really about the current practices and also challenges, in the MICE industry, because the guest speakers talk about 9 Rs, 5 Rs, and a lot of things that they have been doing. And then in Hong Kong, I'm just wondering, what are the current practices and challenges, right? I think it's always good to start the discussion with some good news, right? So over the lunch table, I think Amy told me that actually she has just received some very good news, right? And then could you let's start with you.
Okay. Thank you. I'm Amy from Informa Markets, one of the exhibition organizers company in the world. I just want to share one good news, but first of all, I would like to ask the questions to the audience. Have anybody in this industry, in the exhibition industry, heard of Better Stance program? Great, thank you. Okay. Because we have this Better Stance programs, actually, it's not a stance, it's not a booth, but that is a program that we unite all our exhibitors and our contractors to move away from disposable single-use stands, because you guys have been to a lot of exhibitions and you will see a lot of stands and booths that we only use for like 3 or 4 days or the fair, after the fair ends, all of them will send to the landfills. So what we are doing right now is to encourage our exhibitors and contractors that reuse the booth materials. We are not asking them to like using some expensive recyclable materials or some biodegradable thing, very high-tech things, rocket science things. No, we just ask them to reuse the materials. When you design your special design booth, put reuse elements when you're designing your booth so that you can reuse the materials after the event. So basically, this is the program, okay? And we launched this program in Asia since 2 years ago. And the good news is that, you know, it's so hard to push this kind of better stance in Asia, especially mega shows, people like tall castle booth and all that. So the good news was, in one of our events in Singapore last year, the disposable stands ratio is 63% last year. After we put a lot of effort to promote, engage with our exhibitors, engage with our contractors, work so hard with our contractors to design some other reusable booth, you guess how many percentage we have this year? 50? 40? I heard something close, 27%, from 63% to 27%. Yeah, so this is the good news I want to share with you.
So what are the tips?
The tips is, I think it is a not one single department or one single stakeholder can do this. It is a collective effort. Internally, our operations colleagues, our event colleagues, sales colleagues to engage to our exhibitors, to engage to our contractors. And then it's the mindset change of our exhibitors, of our contractors, so that everything's possible. It's the communications, engagement. We don't have any penalty system here, just engagement and communication. So I'm really proud of them. I just put it in my LinkedIn.
Okay, so now, communication is very important, but I think it's easier said than done, right? I mean, everybody knows it's important, but then, actually, I'd like to really learn about, what are the metrics, that make that possible. Maybe Monica, actually, you have a lot of experience in engaging actors in the supply chain, so I, just to learn from you.
Well, not quite much of learning, but let's share. Of course, Informa Market is a leading organization of being sustainable.
Yes.
And they have come up with this best stand, which we totally support. When it comes to communication, I think we do have different stakeholders in the supply chain, not only organizers, the participants, the exhibitors, the contractors, the forwarders, the venues, and our staff. They all need to come together in every step in the supply chain. So I guess what we engage on different steps. I mean, first we have to convince our employee first, to come together. If we are not convinced, how can we convince others? Okay, so we have this communication at least twice or 3 times a year, inviting all the organizers and the main contractors together to share our goals and also our practices, and also to bring in outsiders, some of the practitioners out there to share the good practice and newly found solutions. I mean, we think the exhibition is one of the source we visited, because every time they bring in new technologies and products, and they constantly evolving. We also proactively engage some of the more submissive or not proactive organization. We actually go all the way out to the office to talk to them one-on-one to see where do they see challenges and how can we help narrowing the gaps. Sometimes they don't understand, sometimes they have this misconception about the high cost of being sustainable, or they don't know where are the support and help. So we do one-on-one as well. So of course there are other social medias and all that. We've also, of the building, the Convention Exhibition Center in Wan Chai, except for the COVID years, we normally welcome over 8 million visitors a year. So we also engage the public when there is events that attract, like the book fair, 1 million people in 7 days. We actually do activities to engage the public, to teach the youngster how to separate waste and the benefit of separating waste.
Sustainability, then it's easy to get those stakeholders to jump on board. And I promise you, it's not for lots of different reasons. But I would say we have an advantage at ReThink. So ReThink is Hong Kong's flagship business event for sustainability. And our remit and the reason we exist is to help businesses of all shapes and sizes from different sectors and backgrounds to recognize that sustainability is both difficult but also an opportunity, and that each and every single one of them has a role, a collective responsibility for Hong Kong's overall transition towards a low carbon and smart economy. That's why we exist. Mm-hmm. As an event that attempts to do that, obviously we have to be at the forefront of sustainable event operations. And I'm not saying we are perfect, we're not, but also it's not about being perfect. It's actually about doing what you can with the resources available to you in collaboration with your stakeholders. Now you have a kind of a sweet spot of shared goals and ambitions with all of your stakeholders, but it might not be a priority for some of them. So also launching our business and our event in COVID, you would think, well, it was difficult, obviously, very difficult, but it actually has given us some advantages from that narrative around sustainability. I think the people's consciousness and awareness around the fragility of ecosystems and just how insignificant we really are on this planet has really brought that to life. And the way that the event has been able to evolve over the last 3-4 years and grow and scale, I think is a reflection of the generals from a business perspective, the understanding of how important this has becoming. But as I shared with a couple of the audience just before the session started, already we are feeling that the economic uncertainty that is on our horizon is going to have an impact on the prioritization around sustainability and ESG. Yeah. So as much as we are all wanting this and fighting for it, there are huge challenges ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So actually listening to Chris and Monica, actually, it's very clear that actually, it takes a lot of effort actually and resources actually. So it's like an investment. You want to promote circularity.
Absolutely, and that's probably the biggest challenge of all of this is proving the business case.
Yes, exactly. So over the lunch table, actually, in fact, Anita talks about the challenge of juggling between, sustainability and economic viability, right? And Anita, what is your experience,
Yeah, so just to clarify, KPMG isn't in the MICE industry, but we organize some 400 plus events just in the China region, China and Hong Kong. And, I have a dual role with the marketing hat on, as well as events, heading the events team. And my challenge is always trying to balance that, the need to do the right thing with cost. Yeah. But, working with or talking with people, experts like Chris and Monica, and knowing what is available out there, including technologies,
helps me to be able to articulate
Yeah.
the value in doing the right thing with our stakeholders.
Any tips?
Well, I think you've got to start with the planning, right? I think if you start with, right from the outset when you're planning the event, where you can embed that sustainability sort of practice, then getting them on board helps. I mean, we started off with a guideline around green events a few years ago, but now that's become policy, and that's been communicated in such a way that, you know, you have to comply almost. You know, obvious things like no shark fin, but even having a minimum of 50% plant-based food on the menu, you know, just making those small steps and no printing. And that was always difficult with marketing. You know, everyone wants lots of materials printed, and that was quite hard to get buy-in. But yeah, it was when people can understand that actually you can still achieve the same, you know, impact, but without wasting, then yeah, you can get the buy-in.
All right. Sheila, how does your organization deal with that issue?
I think I 100% like agree with what Anita said. As a corporate as well, we are not event organizer, but well, my day-to-day job is actually to look for new startup technology that can be used within the group. So when we look into like climate change related technology or ESG related technology, I see a lot of opportunity for those technology, but actually no way for them to promote and to meet with correct stakeholders. And that's why we have the events 1.5 degrees summit. And when I start planning for it, I feel like if we are doing a ESG related with events, we should do it in a sustainable way as well, which is a new concept back then in 2021 back in the world. So when we talk about is like how to promote it within the group is a hard roadmap with education, with a lot of communication. I would say internal or our attendees or our exhibitors, they are actually kind of within the field already, so it's easy to convince. I guess the most difficult one will be on the sponsor side because they are kind of our like helping with the events, but at the same time having a lot of requests. So my approach to that is to actually go one-on-one and deep conversation with them to understand what is happening in their company. Is there any like events around the time that my event is happening? One good example is with BMW HK. We actually noticed there are events around the same month, and we use the same materials that they are promoting in previous events. Alter a little bit, but like for different uses, but still 90% of the materials will be used in our events. So I guess at this stage for us, it's a lot of communication, one-on-one talk.
Thank you. Now again, actually, at the over the lunch table, actually, we did a lot of talking and listening. And when I asked, Ons, her organization, and then I was quite surprised because she told me that actually her organization actually directly reports to the Prime Minister. So even though it's not a part of the government, but actually, the link between the government, and the organization actually is very strong, and you got very strong support, right? Also in Macau, even though you keep saying that yours is a non-profit, but I'm sure that actually you have a lot of support, and then I understand that you have been working, along with government officials, very effectively. I understand that, right? I don't know, in Hong Kong, maybe I'm wrong, but my perception is that, the issue has not captured as much policy attention as wanted, from my perspective. I may be wrong, so I'm just asking, am I correct? If I am correct,
I would just say I was very jealous of the lady's presentation and interpret that as...
All right, so I guess I have two questions for the panel members. If my perception is correct,
I'm jealous, I'm embarrassed.
Oh my God. Are there ways that actually we could actually get the government more involved and to be more supportive? That's the first question. The second question is, okay, if the government is ready to give support, what kind of support? What's the wish list? Right, so maybe, Chris, okay. Two questions.
But there's some excellent examples that the two ladies have given us. I know I think that the tools that are needed are out there. I mean, you know, they say all the technology exists to mitigate the greenhouse challenges that we have, and that's exactly the same for the mice industry. You know, we don't need to invent some new, like, incredibly fancy wizardy technology. It's the solutions are there to help us to do that, and I think there's a fragmentation of the event or mice industry. There needs to be a collective discussion between the various key stakeholders and a collective voice that can go to government to be able to say, look, actually, this is the support we need. Because Monica will give you perhaps better insight than I can. But if you think, you know, Hong Kong was, is, and hope will continue to be, you know, a global destination for trade shows, and so we kind of operate in this pyramid of a ecosystem.
Yeah.
So hundreds of thousands of exhibiting companies coming to exhibitions in Hong Kong, predominantly HKTDC events. So, you know, that's where the vast majority of the waste is coming from, that's contributing to the sustainability issue of our industry in Hong Kong. So there are some easily identifiable places where those conversations need to be had.
Okay.
But I think we need beyond just HKs here, we need a wider group of stakeholders who really believe in this, and then collectively we can take that voice to the government.
All right. Now, before Monica addresses the question, I want to hear from Amy, from the perspective of the industry.
I'm more practical, and what I'm going to say now, it's not represent my company.
Of course.
my personal opinions. I think I think of two things.
Okay.
Money, sponsor from the government, just like Macau. As I talk about better stance, any sponsor from the government, if I have some green bill, some better stance, we can incentivize the contractors, we can incentivize the exhibitors.
Yes.
Okay, very practical. And the second thing, it's policy and regulations. Like Informa, we have better stance program. We have some other programs, but we just do it alone. Some other organizers, they won't follow us. They may not follow us. So we are very lonely to do something sustainable. And the exhibitors, they may complain, why? You have so many regulations and all that. But when I join another exhibitions, they don't have any policy, don't have any regulations. But if the government, they have a rules or regulations like better stands, or the stand height, it has to be lower than 3 meters, then everybody needs to follow. Then that will be great. So this is, I'm more practical. Once again, not represent my company. Okay.
All right. Monica.
Right. Okay. We're now for disclaimer. Okay. No. Okay. Having said that, the government is very supportive of the convention and exhibition industry. I mean, they have all the schemes supporting our industry to develop and all that. But the government also have a lot of challenges these days. Yeah. So these, sustainability is a big subject. Close to my heart. It is our top priority. Yeah. Without the planet, forget about business, forget about anything else, okay? So, but I think it started with education. I don't know why, that we're trying to do as simple as waste separation. Until today, we still don't do it well. You see all these separation bins are wrongly used and contaminated, and the cleaners come around and put everything into one bucket and go to the landfill and all that. I mean, we've been trying to do that for 30 years. We still can't do it. And I was shocked last year during book fair, we're trying to teach the kids to separate the food waste from other waste. And 95% of the kids have no idea what we're talking about, even with the incentive of the popcorns and all that. We were standing there all day to teach the kids. So I mean, that's the most fundamental and the easiest things to do. So education, getting the general public to help out, and so that to have everybody to to come together. And then on the back end also, when we do all this, we call circularity and all that, more importantly, we have to start from the top. I think we start with ReThink. We have to think about hobbies, we think about our habits, we think about where this rubbish goes, and can we reduce it from the source? I think it's most important, we have to reduce from the source. But if unfortunately, or for whatever reason, we cannot reduce from the source, and then all the way to the end, that we have produced those bad rubbish, what to do with it? I mean, we have this plastic that we cannot be recyclable. Why do we still allowing to use that? Packagings. Can we have more regulation on packagings? You know, why is it still allowed? And a lot of things that we know, but again, as an organization, venue or organizer and all that, we're not, sometimes we're powerless. You know, we can talk and convince, but we don't have that force and that authority to make that change. And we need to make that change. We need to make that change urgently. We need that urgency, you know, not just to know. We're quite a few steps behind. So, for instance, the reusable material for exhibition, why are they not using it? Why are they not using it? Because it's more expensive, way more expensive to reuse those material than just dump it and rebuild. Because we have no storage area. And we were trying to talk to the government to give us some wasteland, you know, away from the city, to put those material, store it for the next events. Most of the events in the major venue in Hong Kong are recurrent annually. You know, why can't we store them and we use them? So that can help, for instance. And also to help those entities who do the, let's say, the textile bag recycling, wood recycling, you know, that kind of thing. So we are so lack of that kind of end of the chain handling, and that needs some help, because there's no solution to those waste. We cannot just burn them. We have to find a way. If it's circularity, we have to recycle, we use, upuse, and upcycle people talk about. It's not very practical. It sounds great. Not that practical. It's not a lot of things that we can upcycle. We can do it as a hobby, but as an industry, it's not enough solution.
Mm-hmm. But Monica, you know, let me follow up a little bit. You know, I'm sure that you have a lot of experiences in dealing with government officials on this topic, right? So I'm just wondering, you know, can you share with us one or two successful sort of experiences that, you know, government officials actually, you know, understand, you know, what you try to tell them, because, you know, you're...
I think on the Bureau with the CEDB, the Commerce and Economic Development Bureau, we got good results. We get good results. This is one of the organizations that is listening and supporting. Therefore, they come up with those subsidies during, you know, COVID, and now also encouraging the development of the exhibitions. Mm-hmm. So this is the example of success. The rest I'm still working on. The others.
I think the example of the the green subsidy. You know, obviously the Macau government wants to attract more events into Macau, as does the Hong Kong government want to attract more events into Hong Kong. But this reward, this incentive that actually will give you more if you operate in a green and sustainable way, that's a sweet spot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but again, to help them, there should be other solution. At the moment, as I said, the recycling industry is not as adequate. You know, and so that needs to help. Otherwise, even you have the will to do that, but there's no means for them to do that, right? So we need to help those entities who wants to help recycling the wood or the plastic or the textile pack and other things. Yeah. We do need the government to help them, to help us, and to help, you know, the community.
Yes. Yeah. All right, thank you. Okay, let's move on to another topic. Actually, you know, both guest speakers actually talked about lots of collaboration, actually, with different organizations, like the academia different organization, associations, in promoting circularity. In Hong Kong, what are your experiences? That have you been engaging with different stakeholders, other the academics, associations, other organizations in promoting circularity in the mice industry? Maybe Anita.
Well, we used to be involved in the Invest HK Start Me Up Hong Kong Festival.
All right.
And sort of collaborating with organizations like that on, say, organize a green event on a particular vertical, like smart cities, for example, would be one way. I think there's definitely an opportunity there to work with academia as well, and even cross-border as well. It's challenging trying to get everybody on the same page. I don't know how you guys operate, but yeah, it's finding the right partners.
Yeah, maybe Chris, you have a lot of experience.
Yeah, so we've got a real life, wonderful, and I think unique, Monica will confirm whether it is unique, that we managed to get alignment with Monica and her F&B team and the wonderful team Circular City to run a closed loop coffee cup system inside ReThink last year. Okay. And this is going to sound like it was a made-up number because it's quite coincidental, but we saved 852 Hong Kong phone number 852 coffee cups from going to waste because we used Tim's system, and I very much hope that we can expand on that this year. So it can be done, especially when you're in a single site, which all these events and exhibitions are happening in one big space. So to be able to put in systems like Chau's or Circular City and avoid, circularity is all about what happens afterwards. But actually, if we can avoid using it in the first place, then you don't have to worry about the circularity. So a big thank you to Monica and her team, and to Tim and his team for helping us to pilot that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Can I just also add to that? When we source venues, it's part of the remit that the vendor has to also declare what their sustainable practices are. Okay. So I know when working with the convention centre, it was what can we do with food waste to avoid, and we work with like Food Angel, to donate the food that hadn't been touched but could be reused. But yeah, even with hotels, it's the same. It's like trying to find the venue that has the best sustainable practices.
Wonderful. Sheila, your organization actually adopted a collaborative approach, right?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to chip in as well.
Yes.
Because of my background, I've seen a lot of technologies that can be used within a building itself. So when I plan for the event itself, it's a smaller version of a building, I would say. So different of technology that we use in the events as well. So for example, reusable cup is one of the things that we do as well, and also recycled bin that capture the number of the waste of the event to raise people's attention to the events. That's one thing that we do as well. So and also when we look into the furnitures of the event, we see different provider, also like technology company, that they do recyclable plastics or actually tea leaves that can turn into different furnitures that we can borrow and then return at the same time. So those things wasn't really in the event industry, especially the brand itself is not in the event industry, but with different imagination it can be with it. I also admire how design can make an event more sustainable. One of our partner, Informa, several studios actually use bamboo from the construction site and then reuse it into our event as like a decoration. Usually the decoration is go to waste bin right after the event because it's one-time thing. So with a little bit of design and imagination, it turned into something that can reuse into the construction site, and part of the materials can be recyclable as well. So that's, I think, well, a little bit summary of the collaboration side. I think it's a lot of human effort into that rather than everyone having their own practice. It's the communication, collaboration, and also how we understand each other on each other's place to find a win-win situation.
Thank you. So actually, I'm conscious of time. Actually, we have only about 8 minutes left. So I think I'm going to open the floor for questions and comments so that, all members of the audience can, engage in the discussion. Anyone who wants to? Yes, sir. Please identify yourself briefly. Oh, yeah.
Hi there, it's Stuart Bailey. I'm the chairman of HKEC here. I was chomping at the bit I wish I'd been on the panel because I think it's been excellent and made some really, really interesting points. I just wanted to, before I ask a question, can I come back to your question about the government? Because our association has had meetings, several meetings with the Environmental Protection Department. I think Chris and Amy, you've both attended some of those meetings. And actually, they're good people. They are trying to do, it's not that they don't understand it. They're trying to do the right thing, and they're talented and they get it. But they're working within the constraints of the government, and I think that continually holds them back. I think in terms of what they can do, and I think, Macau's idea of sponsorship to help people be greener is a fantastic idea. I think policy changes can help us a little bit push in the right direction. I want to echo Monica's point, and this is what we stress to them. It's about space. Yeah. If we want people to use modular recyclable stands that can be used again and again, they need somewhere to put them. At the moment, they have to go on a truck, go over the border to a big warehouse in Shenzhen, and frankly, that isn't sustainable, but it also makes it a lot more expensive. Mm-hmm. When we think about, I used to run a food show here, and people always used to say, oh, I need to fridge and a freezer and all this sort of stuff for my produce. They could hire it from a company, but the cost of hiring it was almost double that of buying one from Fortress and throwing it away. The same thing with, foam board. Foam board is much cheaper than the cardboard that reusable cardboard. And whole needle punch carpet, the list goes on. There's so many things. So ultimately, what can the government do better? It's education. They need to get people to understand it, because the bulk of the waste from exhibitions is coming from small to medium-sized companies who don't understand about sustainability. They only understand their bosses told them to do an exhibition and deliver it as cheap as they possibly can. So, the government needs to educate people. And we saw it with the municipal waste charging scheme, which, frankly, was a stick to beat people with, without explaining why this is a good thing to do and you should want to do it anyway. That's the end of my rant about the government. Look, in terms of the kind of the question for the panel, and I think that this is something that we need to kind of continue to think about. It's about measurement. I love the calculator that Synthia showed us earlier, but it's only as good as the information that we can put into it. How can we get people to better measure exactly their carbon footprint and understand that bringing brochures using foam board, all that sort of stuff is unsustainable, and they need to do a better job. So that's my question.
Okay, all right.
If I may
please.
just supplement, I mean, also in order to make it more effective and having a bigger voice, collective voice, we do need people to act from the top. I mean, company, SME, academic, association. We need that vision. We need that directive. We need that, from the top. We need to empower that. We need to set a very clear goal. And we are lucky we have, Stuart as our chairman in our industry association. We always go together, and then we have, support from some of the bigger organization, SME.
Startup.
Very good SME. We do need, but they are, the founder of the company. It has to start from the top to set that, tone and put aside resources to do it. And as you asked earlier about engaging academia and all that, we haven't in the past, but I'm glad that we have these opportunities. So together with your book that you're going to launch, I hope we can make more bigger voice from the industry and to have, fall into the right years and then lead to actions, I hope.
Okay, thank you. Anyone want to?
The word Monica used there is, it's an investment. It's investment in time. It's investment in people, in investment, cash investment in being able to, if you want to fully capture the data of the impact of your event. Obviously, all events have a positive impact, but the negative impact that they can have, or they all do have, to be able to capture that data, to analyze it, to be able to understand it. And there are, obviously, the calculators are wonderful. I think they're probably at quite a high level. But you really need to start digging down. If you want to start aligning your data and your reporting, because if I don't want to get too sustainability about it, but if everyone's heard of ESG, and then you start hearing about Scope 1 and Scope 2 and Scope 3. So these are the emissions that we are all directly or indirectly responsible for. And if you're running an event and you have exhibitors and sponsors, there will be a time in the murky, distant future that you're going to be asked for this data. Yes. So if you've got blue chip organizations as your sponsors or your exhibitors at your event, they're going to come to you and ask you for some data output. And I promise you, it's better to start getting your head around this now. So the calculators at a high level, wonderful. And I wish we had a Hong Kong version. I hope we do get a Hong Kong version. But on a more granular and almost scientific level, we've gone the extra mile on ReThink. We have our own in-house sustainability analyst. And from last year's event, we have a data report, 152 data points that analyze absolutely everything we do from our event operations, but also our business overhead as well, because our business is responsible for that event. We've then been able to do calculations and analysis, some of which we've made publicly available. Some of it are still internal because we want to go one more cycle just to make sure that we understand the data properly. Okay. And as we talked about at lunch, the ambition of all events is they get bigger. Yeah, bigger size, more people attending. So actually, what we're looking at is actually our carbon intensity, and we've now got an internal figure which we'll disclose probably in a year's time, and that carbon intensity is per square meter and per attendee. So we want our event square meters to get bigger, our attendees to be more of them, but we want that carbon intensity to be going down. And maybe in 12 months' time, I can sit here and tell you what that is.
All right. Okay. Great. So I think actually we have less than 1 minute actually, but then I think we can take 1 to 2 more questions from the floor. Yes, please. Yeah, hi.
哎，抱歉啊，这个因为我的加入，原本这个论坛只有。
So excuse me. Originally, this conference was conducted just in Cantonese and English, but because of me now, we have Mandarin as well. So. I'm also in an exhibition space, so perhaps Monica and Amy understands this better, because in mainland China, mainland Chinese expo and exhibition and conferences have slightly different circularities. So in exhibitions, primarily it's about building these exhibitions. In conference, though, in mainland China, for example, conferences would use paper and pen and ink. A lot of government departments in China is when they are promoting incentive schemes and promoting green initiatives, there are a lot of different characteristics to those plans. So today, through this event, I know that Hong Kong is also introducing these incentives. I wonder, when it comes to Hong Kong government's promoting circularity economy in the Hong Kong MySpace, are there any incentives that we could learn from? But as our guests, our speakers have mentioned, and also in Macau, I know that Macau really cares about this. They put a lot of money into it. But what about Hong Kong? What's the difference between Hong Kong and Macau in this aspect? No, I don't think there are any. No. As I've said before, if the government could help us help the exhibition industry in any way, I was asking about this just now. Are there any subsidies, any incentives for us? But as I've said just now, I don't think there are any. To my knowledge, there aren't any.
Yeah, correct. The government is very supportive of our industry, but on our developments and also to retain, or to encourage events to come and to stay in Hong Kong, and in a more grand, scale. But specifically on green and sustainability, there's no such incentive or scheme.
But what do you think is the hesitation?
我相信这几年我要用普通话或者 OK， 我相信这几
Well,
年
I think it is because in these few years, the government
赞助了很多，
had actually sponsored quite a lot, because after the pandemic, the venue rentals had already been subsidized by the government. But if you're talking about specifically about environmental protection, about circularity, specific to these, there is no sponsorship as such. But the government had actually done quite a bit. And I know the organizations, the associations sometimes in Hong Kong are even stronger and more active than the government. Is it true? Is that true for Hong Kong? That they are even more capable in terms of subsidies granted compared to the government? Oh, no, that's not true.
I can only speak with the chairman here. The Hong Kong ISEA, we are an industry-owned association. We don't have any legal power, or we don't have the resources to give out subsidies or incentive to promote that. We don't have that resources, okay? So we still have to rely on government. 我们社会都是跟政府联系。
So for association, we basically talk to the government and look to them for resources. We don't have the power, authority, nor the resources to grant these subsidies. Well, we of course will be stepping up in our communication with the government. What a big misunderstanding.
So you translate to the chairman later.
Hello, I'm Matthew from Production. When we talk about policy, I think the government is not only provide a policy about the MICE industry. We need a total sustainable policy for the city. Because when business travelers come to Hong Kong, they're not only concerned about the venue, about the MICE industry. They also visit the city, go to the countryside, F&B, hotel. For example, my clients asked me for a destination for the exhibition or conference. They asked me, how about to what extent Hong Kong is sustainable? They will ask about the airline. Is it using SAF, sustainable aviation fuel? How good is Hong Kong hotel in terms of energy efficiency? What's the transportation provided? Is it electrified? How the F&B, is it a vegan option is available in the city? That's a lot of question is beyond the MICE industry. So I think when we talk about how to make our MICE industry more sustainable, we need all other sectors to connect it. Yeah. MICE industry is not a standalone in the city. Yeah.
No, but it's a very influential. It's the government. It's very important for the government, the MICE industry. So, it's I guess our opportunity, responsibility to use the examples of our neighbours that are not very far away, and how they're using it to their advantage. I think that's the angle to go with. And Singapore as well. I mean, SACIOS are doing a great job with their sustainability training courses that they're rolling out across all their members. Yeah, we've got a lot to learn from our nearby neighbours.
So more focused, actually, government action would be desirable. All right, so I guess time is up. That's all the time we have, and thank you, members of the panel, for the very interesting sharing.
Thank you. Please give a warm round of applause.
For the audience.
And I would like to invite all of you to join us for a group photo.
All right, all right. Best part.
So maybe we can move a little bit closer to the center of the stage. And we will join one group photo first. Then we will also invite our keynote speakers on the stage for a second photo. Yeah. We will have one photo with the panel speakers first. Yeah, and the second one we will invite the keynote speakers too. So the camera is at the back. Yes, and I would like to invite our keynote speakers, Mrs. Orachorn Wongpan-ngam and Ms. Synthia Chan, to join the group photo as well. Yes? Yep. Yep. Please be in the middle. Yep. Bonnie, please join. All right, so take one step to your left, to the right, sorry. Thank you so much. All right. Yep. Yeah, we have more photos to come, so please be seated. Thank you once again. Please give a warm round of applause to our speakers and panelists for their very insightful sharing. So to catalyze the adoptions of circular practices in the mines industry, it is important, as we have heard over and over again from our speakers, from our panel speakers, is to equip the industry with practical knowledge and tools. So today's events, as we all know, also marks the exciting launch of the Practical Guidebook to Circular Economy, Volume 2, collaborating with value chain partners for organizing circular events and exhibitions. And it is my pleasure now to invite our Assistant Project Manager, Darwin, to join me on stage to share a little bit more about the guidebook. So,
hi, Mimi.
Hi, Darwin. Can you first share with us about the purpose of us writing the guidebook?
Well, sure. Within the 4 years action project called Partnership for Sustainability Leadership in Business, actually, this is indeed our second guidebook on circular economy. Last time we wrote about the food and beverage industry, and now we will focus more on the mines sector. Hopefully we'll try to, through this guidebook, to will inspire positive change by showcasing the best practices and also the possible collaboration models on resource circularity. So in the process of developing this guidebook, we reach out to a number of stakeholders, including event organizers, venue providers, exhibitors, and also the contractors to really get to know their views and also understand the pain points which stop them from practicing circularity. And the stakeholders we have engaged actually have provided valuable insights into what can actually work, what are the useful tools in the market, and also what are the possible collaboration frameworks that they can use to facilitate the resource circularity transition process. So I think that's what we did over the past, 6 to 9 months. Yeah.
So can you share a little highlights of the guidebook with us?
I would say this is rather unique and quite different from the guidebooks in the market. First of all, this publication relates not only to the large-scale business events that held in the exhibition centers or convention halls, but it also applied to the smaller scale locations, such as the hotels or business venues. And this guidebook while this guidebook does not include the recreational activities or events, such as the concerts, galas, or festivals. But we believe that the circularity frameworks and principles are all applied to all these kind of activities. So overall speaking, I think it offers a very
actionable step-by-step action guidelines and useful templates for the MICE practitioners. So no matter if you are the project manager in the industry, or if you are the event teams, and even the marketing or communication personnel within your own department, as long as you really want to integrate resource circularity into the business operations through a value chain event framework, I believe this guidebook will help you a lot.
All right. As far as I know, today we also incorporate 8 different solutions providers in our events. So we are honored to work with Ban Marie, Event X, Fruitable, Love Recycling Plus, Megaplan, Muse, Spirit, and Urban Spring to avoid single-use material at this event as far as possible. Even though we may be coming from an academia background, but we certainly walk our talks. Following this guidebook, we made every effort to turn this event a circular-minded one, but we realized becoming 100% circular is never an easy task. So it can be challenging when sourcing a contractor to facilitate zero-waste design and production, as well as finding the right solution provider to recycle and repurpose the waste into value-added materials. And in principle, circular economy and events are powered by renewable energy. But nevertheless, Hong Kong's current fuel mix is certainly not 100% renewable. And offsetting with carbon emitted may be a quick fix, but it's not yet the best solution as well. As we have discussed, addressing these challenges required a facilitating ecosystem with policy innovation and industry leaderships. But I hope this will not stop us from taking our first step. And this guidebook is only made possible with the tremendous support from our collaborators from the MICE industries. So now I would like to invite our host to join us on stage for a launch ceremony of this guidebook. I would like to first invite Professor Lam back on stage and Ms. Bonnie Yip, Senior Corporate Sustainability Manager, Asia Pacific from HSBC. And also now give our biggest warm welcome to our contributors. I would invite Monica from Hong Kong Convention and Exhibition Center, Chris from ReThink Hong Kong, Amy from Informa Markets, Sheila Ebrahim from New World Development Company Limited, Mr. Stuart Bailey. Of production, Mr. Terry Choi, Operation Manager from Winkle Retail Eco Hub, and Ms. Carmen Liu, Account Manager from Speedy Design, and Dr. Winnie Law, Deputy Director from Center for Civil Society and Governance. So we will now pass the top props for first a group photo before we go into the gimmick. You can share the props. So it's highlighting the 9 R's that we emphasize in the circular, resource circular model. Okay, so please move to your left. Yes. A little bit, so we're trying to feel everyone in this group photo. So please look at the camera at the back. Okay, so please remain on stage. Our helper will come collect the props. And now, you will see our book cover at the back on the screen right now, showing. All right, so this is our book cover. And on the cover, you see the line. It represents the value chain. And I would like to invite all of you to put your palms on top of the line, one of the line that you select, just on top of it, not touching it yet. And so, are you ready? You do find your spot, okay? So this is a second group photo. So please look at the cameras and we will take, Okay, so wait a minute. So I'm going to count 1 to 3, and on 3 we will all put our palms on the line and we will together unveil the content of this guidebook. So okay, are you ready? So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. So we're flipping a few highlights of our guidebook over here. All right. So that's the kickoff ceremony. Thank you everyone for joining, and please be seated. So our guidebook is officially live on the PSLB project website for download. And you may also feel free to browse the digital copy from the publication table right outside of the lecture hall. And ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of this remarkable event, the journey towards a more circular and sustainable MICE industry only just begins. We hope that you will carry the knowledge we have gained today and strive to make a difference. Thanks again for joining us, and we have prepared some refreshments in the foyer for our networking sessions. So please enjoy, speak to one of our student ambassadors, learn about what we have incorporated in this event, and connect with our fellow participants, and have a wonderful evening. And I wish to see you all very soon. Thank you so much. And please scan our QR codes and give us some positive feedbacks about the overall events. Your comments will be very valuable for us to make an even more sustainable and meaningful event for all of you.